This is my house.
This morning, I went to go for a walk and found a blank DVD tucked into my shoe, and when I put it in my computer, it was a DVD for the movie Ice Spiders, starring Patrick Muldoon, briefly from Starship Troopers, and Vanessa Williams, who was in New Jack City, and they ended up doing a movie called Ice Spiders. Now, I've been an observer of Patrick Muldoon ever since the crab scene in The Seven Adventures of Sinbad. I've been ragging on this film for a while, and I've seen it maybe once before and only once, and I remember it being horrible. Ice Spiders comes to us from the director Tibor Takacs, the director of 2 episodes of Earth Final Conflict, the director of the movie Killer Rats, the director of the movie Mansquito. Ice Spiders is a 2007 science fiction horror film which premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel, in which, quote, a team of young Winter Olympics hopefuls must slalom to safety when a horde of giant mutated spiders escape from a top-secret laboratory. It's set in Utah, the film is sat on a 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb, and as is tradition, the box art is a complete lie. None of the spiders are even close to being that big. None of them are the size of a post office. They're about the size of a man or perhaps a large dog, and I remember the film being complete trash, because I thought about it recently, and sci-fi is, I think, my favourite genre. When I think about my favourite films, it's films like Aliens, The Thing, Predator, Blade Runner, The Abyss. Sci-fi as a genre can give the writer such complete scope to just run wild with their imagination, to try to imagine alien worlds, different futures for humanity, fantastical technology. The hope that despite all of humanity's worst instincts that we actually make it and grow into something more than we currently are. Sci-fi can do all of that. Or you can have people trying to ski away from dog-sized spiders, and something weird happened to me when I was watching this movie. This may come as a shock, but the film is not very good. And while I was watching this movie that I've watched before and thought was total trash, I sat there and thought to myself, this could be so much worse. I'm so glad I chose to watch this instead of Doctor Who. And I can't believe they're doing the they-them lecture again. They did that, what, 3 or 4 episodes ago? That clip is all I've seen of the new Doctor Who series, and I think that's enough for me. I thought, shall I watch Doctor Who? Nah. Instead of that, I'll go and touch some grass and then watch Ice Spiders instead, and I'm very happy with that choice at this point. So yeah, in short, I found comparatively I enjoyed Ice Spiders this time around. It's pure B-movie schlock. It's total cheese. The acting in places is quite shaky. Some of the creature effects look frankly horrible, especially when they try close-ups. But as long as they're far enough away, they're kind of passable for a movie with a reported $2 million budget. In places, they meshed the live action and the CGI quite well, actually. And the film hits that sweet spot for me of being so bad in places it's actually funny. In Ice Spiders, Patrick Muldoon plays an ex-Olympic skier who got injured, then joined the military and ended up as a ski instructor, and his character's name is Dan Dashell. His acting in this film, yeah, it's not great again.
Race over, ugly! You lose! Nice rack.
He plays an aged ski bro, and he's a ski instructor at a lodge that's right next to a secret laboratory that's growing giant spiders. And why are they doing that exactly? Doesn't that seem cartoonishly evil?
Not for power, not for evil, but for good.
In that lab works Vanessa Williams' character, who's a lady scientist. She's grown concerned about the lab she works in, growing giant mutant spiders, and she's also Muldoon's love interest of the film, despite them having zero chemistry.
Nice rack.
I mean, what woman will not be overjoyed at a man telling her that she has a nice rack? And the joke doesn't even work, because they aren't even in her house. It doesn't work as an innuendo. Now...
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
Now that one works. From here on, I'll be getting into spoilers. inasmuch as I could possibly spoil Ice Spiders as a movie. The movie opens with a couple of hunters out looking for game when they see a giant spider, and one of them thinks it will make a much better trophy, so he tries to bag the very large, angry-looking spider with a bow and arrow, but the spider dodges his arrows and both of the hunters get munched, and this opening reminds me strangely of the opening scenes of Game of Thrones. It's the snow and the ice and the forest and the men being hunted, and Ice Spiders was released before Game of Thrones aired. I'm just saying, it is possible that Game of Thrones copied from Ice Spiders, even if the book of Game of Thrones was released first. Sadly, the overall quality of Ice Spiders does not quite match that of Game of Thrones. Ice Spiders, however, probably does have a better ending. And what precisely happened to the giant spiders in Game of Thrones anyway? We were teased Ice Spiders as big as hams, and then they never delivered. And then Bran got made king because he supposedly had a good story. Where was I? Oh yeah, a load of annoying teens who are Olympic hopefuls are going to the ski lodge to practice, where there's immediate friction with Patrick Muldoon's character, who plays their instructor. One, called Chad, because of course he is. The objectionable Chad clashes with Dash because he thinks he's a better skier, and Dash is trying to flirt badly with his would-be love interest, Dr. Summers, who just came in to pick up a package. Chad is mocking Dash because he was once an Olympic hopeful until a horrible injury forced his retirement, and now Chad thinks he's washed up. Chad challenges Dash to a race, and Chad wins when Dash is unwilling to make a jump because he's worried he'll get re-injured. Meanwhile, Dr. Summers has gone back to her lab, where she finds almost everyone has been eaten by the giant spiders. She runs away from a giant black widow and pulls the fire alarm. All of the other spiders have already escaped. The firearm alerts some military men who are assigned to guard the lab, as well as the head of the lab, Dr. Marks, who will be playing our resident mad scientist for the film. And Dr. Summers then goes back to the ski lodge. Dr. Marks has been overfeeding the spiders with growth hormones. The spiders were initially intended to be a source of spider silk for protective body armour. I tried to look up if growth hormones even work on spiders in the same way, and I tried doing a Google search, and Google presented some popular search terms that apparently a lot of people have been asking for, including the question, do spiders have nipples? And I'm not sure why so many people were looking for that. Spiders aren't mammals, that should probably give you a clue, so no. Actual spiders don't have nipples, but Japan probably has some art that has you covered if that's what you're looking for. The question is about as scientifically accurate as the film Ice Spiders is. Dash helps a local forest ranger who's looking for the missing hunters, and they find them eaten. Then the forest ranger also gets eaten, and Dash escapes back to the lodge, where more spiders are snacking on the skiers. The lab made 6 giant spiders, all giant versions of different types of spider, so there's quite a bit of variety in how they mangle people. There's a jumping spider, there's one that throws webs and reels people in. The teens make a break for the bus to try and get away, and I can't help but think that the music for that scene is a bit overblown for the action we're getting. They end up trapped on the bus when Chad crashes it, and a giant black widow spider is on the roof of the bus, and then they're stuck on the bus as a predator tries to get in, and it reminded me heavily of the bus scenes from Jeepers Creepers 2. The soldiers are trying to capture the spiders alive so the experiment can go on, while Dr. Summers goes to the ski lodge to find people being mangled by spiders. Dash does in a spider by hitting it with an antlered deer head from off of the wall, and then says to Dr. Summers,
Nice rack.
Dr. Summers tells Dash what's been going on at the lab, but in the meantime, Dash has come up with a plan to trap the spiders. He's going to defeat them by skiing. Dash is going to ski down the mountain while holding a flare and hoping the light and motion will make the spiders follow him right into a trap. Dash outruns the spiders. They stop to eat the spider food left at the bottom of the skiing halfpipe, and they all get caught by soldiers with net guns, in a way that frankly made me wonder why the skiing was necessary at all. Against the wishes of the soldiers, Dash has got one of his colleagues to fire the avalanche cannon at the spiders, blowing them up, but one gets free and chomps the evil Dr. Marks. The military then take the one remaining live spider and cover the whole thing up. Dr. Summers throughout the film has learned to maybe not breed giant murder spiders, and Dash has refound his lost confidence. Everyone now thinks he's awesome, and he's won over Dr. Summers, so we get a semi-happy ending that teases a sequel. So unlike a lot of big budget films that I've watched lately, Ice Spiders actually had character arcs and development, which seems to demonstrate to me that a lot of current Hollywood, let's call them talent, have less writing ability than the people that made Ice Spiders.
And the Bob Igers are like, nah, what's going on with my stars? No, Captain Kennedy. Ah!